First Contact's price. The Velox warship emerged from hyperspace like a predatory fish, breaking the surface of a calm pond. Its obsidian hull absorbed what little starlight reached this far into the solar system, making it appear as a ship-shaped void against the star-speckled backdrop of space. Supreme Commander Vaxter stood on the bridge, his iridescent scales shifting colors with barely contained anticipation. "Primitive," he said, examining the readouts of Earth's defensive capabilities. "Their most advanced satellites still rely on radio waves and chemical propulsion." His secondary hearts pulsed with amusement. The Velox Confederation had consumed a dozen civilizations in the past decade alone, each one more advanced than these humans. But Earth had something the Confederation desperately needed: quantum reactive minerals, rare elements that formed the backbone of faster-than-light travel. Initial scans showed Earth's crust contained the highest concentration of these minerals ever discovered. The human leaders assembled in the United Nations fell silent as Vaxter's hologram materialized in their chamber. His towering form, covered in shifting scales that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, made an imposing sight. "Your species has 2 standard solar cycles to extract and deliver 50,000 tons of quantum reactive minerals," Vaxter announced without preamble. "Fail, and we will extract them ourselves, regardless of the damage to your biosphere." The threat hung in the air like a blade. Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's newly appointed Director of Extraterrestrial Affairs, stepped forward. Her calm demeanor betrayed nothing of the plan already in motion. "Supreme Commander, surely we can negotiate more favorable terms. The extraction process alone is not my concern," Vaxter interrupted. "Your species' survival depends on your efficiency. We will return in 2 cycles." The hologram vanished, leaving the chamber in tense silence. Sarah turned to face the assembled leaders. "Well," she said, allowing herself a slight smile, "they fell for it." General Marcus Santos, commander of Earth's supposedly primitive defense force, nodded. "Complete tactical arrogance, just as we predicted." He activated a secure holographic display, showing a vast underground facility beneath the Pacific Ocean. Project Nightshade is already ahead of schedule. For 30 years, humanity had maintained a careful facade of technological mediocrity. Every satellite launched contained hidden quantum computers. Every space station housed prototype phase shift generators. Earth's scientists had unlocked the secrets of quantum reactive minerals decades ago, but instead of broadcasting their achievements, they had chosen to wait, to prepare. In a secure facility 5 kilometers beneath the Pacific, Dr. James Wong watched as the first Phantom-class vessel took shape. Unlike the brutal efficiency of Velox design, the human ship embodied elegant complexity. Its hull was composed of overlapping fields of quantum probability, allowing it to exist in multiple states simultaneously. "They expect us to dig our own grave," Sarah said, watching the construction through a quantum-linked display. "Instead, we're building their coffin." She turned to her colleagues, her expression grave. "Initiate Phase 2. We have 2 years to perfect technology they believe impossible for us to even conceive." As Vaxter's ship disappeared into hyperspace, he remained blissfully unaware that humanity had just laid the perfect trap. The Earth's apparent primitive state was the result of 3 decades of careful planning, a deception so complete that even the Confederation's advanced sensors couldn't penetrate it. In the coming months, while the Velox waited for their tribute, humanity would complete a transformation that had been generations in the making. The quantum reactive minerals weren't just resources to be exploited. They were the key to a technological revolution that would reshape the galaxy. As night fell over the Pacific, the massive underground facility hummed with activity. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly, knowing that humanity's future hung in the balance. The Phantom-class vessels weren't just ships. They were the embodiment of humanity's greatest strengths: patience, ingenuity, and the ability to turn apparent weakness into unprecedented power. Dr. Chen stood at a viewport, watching the quantum fields ripple across the prototype's hull like waves on an impossible ocean. "Let them think us primitive," she whispered. "Let them underestimate us. In 2 years, they'll learn what humanity is truly capable of." In orbit, Earth's primitive satellites continued their predictable patterns, each one masking technology that would soon change the course of galactic history. The trap was set, the pieces in motion. Humanity had chosen the battlefield, and now they would dictate the terms of engagement. The game had begun, and the Velox Confederation had no idea they were already playing by humanity's rules. Project Nightshade. The quantum forge beneath the Pacific Ocean pulsed with energy that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Dr. James Wong watched as impossibly complex equations materialized in the air around him, holographic representations of calculations that pushed the boundaries of known physics. The Phantom-class vessel suspended in the center of the massive chamber seemed to flicker in and out of reality itself. "The quantum field harmonics are stabilizing," his colleague Dr. Maya Patel announced, her fingers dancing across a control interface that operated in 4 dimensions. "We've achieved sustained phase variance across all 7 probability layers." In the 6 months since the Velox ultimatum, Project Nightshade had accelerated beyond their most optimistic projections. The quantum reactive minerals that the Confederation coveted so desperately had proven to be far more versatile than even they imagined. Humanity hadn't just learned to manipulate these materials, they had learned to speak their language. High above the facility, the Pacific churned with unusual patterns, a side effect of the quantum experimentation happening below. To any watching Velox sensors, it would appear as nothing more than normal oceanic behavior. The deception ran deep, woven into every aspect of Earth's operations. "Begin primary sequence for the consciousness integration," James ordered. This was the truly revolutionary aspect of the Phantom-class vessels. They weren't just ships, they were extensions of human consciousness itself. The quantum reactive minerals allowed for a direct neural interface between human operators and the ship's quantum field matrix. Sarah Chen observed from the control room as the first team of pilots underwent the integration process. "How are they handling the quantum synthesis?" she asked, watching as the pilot's brainwave patterns synchronized with the ship's probability field. "Better than we anticipated," Maya replied. "It seems human consciousness is uniquely suited to processing quantum uncertainties. We don't just observe quantum states, we can influence them." The implications were staggering. While the Velox used brute force to tear through space-time, humanity had learned to gentle it, to work with the fabric of reality rather than against it. The Phantom-class vessels didn't need massive engines or weapons, they could simply adjust probability itself. In another section of the facility, General Santos supervised the training of Earth's first quantum warriors. "The key is to think in possibilities," the instructor explained to the assembled pilots. "The ship doesn't move through space, it moves through probability. You don't fire weapons, you collapse wave functions in your favor." The general smiled as he watched the trainees adapt to this new paradigm with remarkable speed. Humanity's greatest advantage had always been its ability to embrace new ways of thinking, to see beyond the obvious to the impossible. Reports from the surface indicated that the Velox's monitoring satellites had detected nothing unusual. Earth's facade of primitive technology remained intact, while beneath the waves, a revolution in warfare took shape. The Confederation's demand for quantum reactive minerals had unwittingly spurred humanity to perfect technology that would render traditional space combat obsolete. "We've confirmed quantum entanglement across all ship systems," James announced, reviewing the latest test results. "The Phantom can exist in multiple locations simultaneously, maintaining coherence across light years of space." The implications for both combat and exploration were unprecedented. Sarah studied the prototype, its hull rippling with quantum possibilities. "How many ships will be ready when the Velox return?" "At current production rates, we'll have a fleet of 12, Maya answered. "Small by conventional standards, but each one capable of being everywhere and nowhere at once." Sarah finished. "A ghost fleet that can rewrite the rules of engagement." In the depths of the facility, the Phantom's quantum core pulsed with potential. The ship was learning, growing more attuned to human consciousness with each passing moment. It wasn't just a weapon. It was the next step in human evolution, a bridge between the quantum realm and human perception. As the first year of their deadline approached, Earth's secret weapon was nearly complete. The Velox would return expecting to find a primitive civilization scrambling to meet their demands. Instead, they would encounter something unprecedented, a species that had transcended traditional physics itself. James stood before the assembled project leaders, his expression serious. "We've achieved something remarkable here, but we've only scratched the surface of what's possible. The quantum reactive minerals aren't just resources, they're a doorway to understanding reality itself." Sarah nodded, watching as another team of pilots merged their consciousness with their vessels. The Velox thought they were forcing us to dig our own grave. Instead, they gave us the tools to reshape the galaxy. In orbit, Earth's primitive satellites continued their predictable dance, while beneath the Pacific, humanity prepared to demonstrate that the most dangerous predators are those that choose their moment to strike. The Ghost Fleet. Supreme Commander Vaxter's flagship emerged from hyperspace at the head of an armada. 300 Velox warships filled the space around Earth's orbit, their obsidian hulls blocking out the stars themselves. The message was clear: submission or annihilation. Status report on the humans' mining operation, Vaxter demanded, his scales rippling with anticipation of either tribute or conquest. His science officer's response was immediate. "Scans show minimal extraction activity. Supreme Commander, they appear to have barely begun the process." The officer's scales shifted to a nervous gray. "They cannot possibly meet our quota." Vaxter's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. "As expected, prepare the invasion fleet. We'll extract the minerals ourselves, regardless of what remains of their civilization." He opened a channel to Earth's pathetic defensive command. But before he could speak, something impossible happened. Space itself seemed to shiver, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. Where there had been empty void between his fleet and Earth, shapes began to materialize. Not with the brutal flash of hyperspace emergence, but with an elegant subtlety that defied physics itself. Dr. Sarah Chen's voice came through on all frequencies, calm and precise. "Supreme Commander Vaxter, thank you for your patience these past 2 years. Allow us to present humanity's response to your demands." The shapes solidified into vessels unlike anything the Velox had ever encountered. 12 ships, their hulls composed of what appeared to be solid probability, quantum fields visible to the naked eye as they rippled across surfaces that seemed to exist in multiple places simultaneously. "Impossible," Vaxter's science officer whispered. "Their technology was primitive. We confirmed it ourselves." Inside the lead Phantom-class vessel, Captain Elena Rodriguez smiled as her consciousness merged with her ship's quantum matrix. She didn't pilot the vessel so much as become it, her thoughts translating instantly into quantum-level adjustments to reality itself. "All Phantom vessels, execute Operation Ghostlight," she commanded. The words were unnecessary. The neural link between the ships and their crews meant the fleet moved as a single organism. 12 vessels operating with perfect synchronization. The Velox fleet opened fire, hundreds of energy weapons converting space itself into plasma. But the Phantom ships simply ceased to exist where the attacks would have landed, appearing elsewhere as though they had always been there. They didn't evade. They rewrote probability to ensure the attacks had never been accurate in the first place. "Impossible." Vaxter raged as his sensors tried to make sense of what they were seeing. The human vessels seemed to exist everywhere and nowhere at once, their quantum fields extending throughout the battlefield like an infinite web of possibilities. "You wanted our quantum reactive minerals," Sarah's voice came again. "We decided to show you what we've learned about them instead. Your sensors weren't wrong, Supreme Commander. Our satellites are exactly as primitive as they appear. We simply chose not to reveal our true capabilities until now." The Phantom fleet began their demonstration in earnest. They didn't fire conventional weapons. Instead, they manipulated probability fields around Velox ships, causing systems to fail, weapons to misfire, and hyperdrives to destabilize. It wasn't combat in any traditional sense. It was reality itself turning against the invasion fleet. In the quantum-linked command center beneath the Pacific, General Santos watched the battle unfold. Status report. The Phantom Fleet is performing beyond projections, Dr. Wong reported. The quantum field integration is perfect. The Velox literally cannot hurt us. By the time their weapons fire, we've already adjusted probability to ensure they miss. On the battlefield, Alina's vessel danced through space-time, leading her squadron in maneuvers that should have been impossible. The Velox fleet's formation began to break as ships lost power, their quantum reactive cores influenced by fields they couldn't even detect. This is your only warning, Sarah broadcast. The Velox Confederation is no longer welcome in Earth space. We've demonstrated a fraction of our capabilities. The next demonstration will be considerably less gentle. Vaxter watched in horror as a third of his fleet hung dead in space, their systems corrupted by quantum field manipulation. His mighty armada, which had conquered dozens of civilizations, was being undone by technology that shouldn't have been possible for centuries. How long? He demanded over the command channel. How long have you had this capability? Long enough to know you were coming. Sarah replied. Long enough to prepare. Long enough to surpass anything you thought possible. The question now, Supreme Commander, is how many ships are you willing to lose before you acknowledge that the game has changed? As if to punctuate her words, the Phantom Fleet synchronized their quantum fields, creating a cascade of probability waves that rippled through space. Where they passed, Velox ships simply blinked out of existence, reappearing seconds later with their weapons and engines fused into configurations that defied physics. The message was clear. Humanity hadn't just learned to use quantum reactive minerals, they had mastered them in ways the Velox had never imagined possible. The invasion fleet that had arrived expecting an easy conquest was instead witnessing the emergence of a power that would reshape the galaxy. Ripples in space. News of humanity's quantum revolution spread through the galaxy like a shockwave. The Velox retreat had been witnessed by countless observation posts and deep space monitoring stations. Within days, the quantum-encrypted communications networks of 100 civilizations buzzed with the implications of what had transpired in the Sol system. In the Galactic Council's emergency session, representatives from major powers gathered to discuss this unprecedented development. The massive chamber, usually a cacophony of diplomatic posturing, had fallen into an uneasy silence as they reviewed the footage of Earth's Phantom Fleet in action. Ambassador Lix of the Meridian Collective, one of the galaxy's oldest civilizations, addressed the assembly. For centuries, we assumed mastery over quantum reactive minerals was the pinnacle of technological achievement. These humans haven't just matched our understanding. They fundamentally reimagined it. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at Earth's newly granted podium, her presence a stark reminder of how quickly the galaxy's power dynamics had shifted. Humanity doesn't seek dominion, she stated, her voice carrying across the chamber. We seek understanding. The quantum realm isn't a tool to be exploited. It's a partner in the dance of reality itself. In the depths of space, the Phantom Fleet continued to evolve. Each ship's quantum consciousness grew more sophisticated, their human crews discovering new applications of their technology daily. They didn't just travel through space, they communed with it, their presence creating ripples in the quantum fabric that other species were only beginning to detect. Captain Elena Rodriguez, now leading an expanded fleet of 20 Phantom vessels, encountered a Meridian research station near the Orion Arm. The ancient civilization scientists had requested a demonstration of human quantum technology, offering their own centuries of knowledge in exchange. Your approach is unprecedented, the Meridian chief researcher admitted, watching as Elena's ship existed in 12 different locations simultaneously, each version as real as the others. We've always viewed quantum mechanics as a tool to be controlled. You've turned it into an art form. Back on Earth, Dr. Wong and his team had made another breakthrough. The quantum reactive minerals aren't just responding to our commands, he explained to a gathered assembly of global leaders and alien observers. They're teaching us. Each interaction reveals new possibilities, new ways of understanding the fundamental nature of reality. The implications extended far beyond military applications. Human quantum technology was revolutionizing everything from medical science to space exploration. Phantom tech hospitals could shift patients through probability states where their illnesses never developed. Quantum archaeologists could study multiple possible versions of historical events simultaneously. But not everyone welcomed this new paradigm. The Velox Confederation, humbled but not destroyed, had retreated to their core systems. Intelligence suggested they were desperately trying to replicate humanity's quantum innovations without success. They're missing the fundamental principle, Maya explained during a briefing with alien scientists. You can't force quantum reality to conform to your will. You have to learn to dance with it, to embrace uncertainty as a partner rather than an obstacle. The Phantom Fleet's capabilities had effectively rewritten the rules of space warfare, making traditional military tactics obsolete. Several former Velox client states had already approached Earth seeking protection and technological exchange, shifting the balance of power in their sector of the galaxy. Sarah found herself mediating an increasing number of interstellar disputes. Humanity's quantum technology made them ideal peacekeepers. Their ships could be everywhere at once, maintaining stability across vast regions of space without firing a shot. We stand at a crossroads, she addressed the Galactic Council. For too long, species have viewed the quantum realm as a resource to be exploited. We propose a different path, one of cooperation, not just between civilizations, but between consciousness and reality itself. In orbit around Earth, the original 12 Phantom ships maintained their vigilant watch, their quantum fields rippling with possibilities. They had become more than weapons or tools. They were a bridge between the conventional universe and its underlying quantum nature, a testament to humanity's unique approach to understanding reality. The galaxy was changing, adapting to this new paradigm that Earth had introduced. Some species embraced it eagerly, seeking to learn humanity's methods of quantum communion. Others watched warily, uncertain of their place in this new order where traditional power meant little against the ability to reshape probability itself. But all of them had to acknowledge one undeniable truth. Humanity's mastery of quantum technology hadn't just changed the balance of power, it had opened up entirely new frontiers of possibility. The question now wasn't who controlled the galaxy, but how this new understanding of reality would reshape civilization itself. Dawn of the Quantum Age. 5 years after humanity's quantum revelation, the galaxy had transformed in ways few could have predicted. The massive chamber of the Quantum Integration Academy beneath the Pacific Ocean hummed with activity as students from 100 different species learned humanity's unique approach to understanding reality. Dr. Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's Secretary of Galactic Relations, watched as a young Velox scientist worked alongside a human quantum engineer, their scales shifting in excitement as they successfully merged consciousness with a training vessel's quantum matrix. "Did you ever imagine this when we were preparing for their invasion?" General Santos asked, standing beside her at the observation window. His uniform now bore the insignia of the United Earth Defense Force, though these days it represented cooperation more than conflict. Honestly, no, Sarah admitted, but that's the beauty of quantum reality. All possibilities exist simultaneously until we choose which to manifest. The Velox Confederation had undergone its own transformation. After their failed invasion and subsequent diplomatic overtures, they had become one of humanity's most dedicated students. Their natural ability to perceive multiple light spectrums made them particularly adept at visualizing quantum probability fields once they abandoned their forceful approach to the technology. In deep space, the original Phantom Fleet had evolved into something even their creators hadn't anticipated. The quantum reactive minerals, in constant communion with human consciousness, had developed a form of collective awareness. Each ship was now a unique blend of human insight and quantum reality, exploring possibilities that existed beyond conventional understanding. Captain Elena Rodriguez, leading an exploration mission at the galaxy's edge, made first contact with a non-baryonic species that existed primarily in quantum states. The encounter would have been impossible without humanity's unique approach to quantum technology. "We're not just exploring space anymore," she reported back to Earth. "We're exploring reality itself." Dr. Wong and Dr. Patel's continued research had yielded even more startling discoveries. The quantum reactive minerals weren't just rare elements. They were fragments of a deeper layer of reality, one that existed beneath the quantum realm itself. Humanity's decision to work in harmony with these materials rather than exploit them had opened doors that older civilizations had never even perceived. "The minerals chose us," Maya explained to a gathering of galactic scientists. "Our consciousness, our ability to embrace uncertainty and possibility. It made us ideal partners for exploring the true nature of existence." The Galactic Council had evolved as well, transformed by humanity's influence into a more collaborative body. The quantum technology that had initially seemed like a potential weapon of unprecedented power had instead become a tool for understanding and cooperation. Species that had once competed for resources now explored multiple probability streams to find solutions that benefited everyone. In orbit around Earth, the prototype quantum communications array took shape. Unlike conventional faster-than-light communication, this network would connect consciousness itself across vast distances, allowing instant understanding between different species and cultures. It was the next step in galactic evolution, made possible by humanity's unique perspective on quantum reality. "We were never meant to be conquerors," Sarah addressed the Academy's graduating class. "We were meant to be teachers, explorers, and partners in the galaxy's journey toward understanding." The Velox threat didn't make us develop this technology. It simply gave us the opportunity to reveal what we had already become. The quantum reactive minerals that had once been viewed as mere resources now served as the foundation for a new form of civilization. Ships equipped with quantum cores could access alternate probability streams, finding abundant resources in parallel realities. Scarcity, the driving force behind so many conflicts, began to fade as a concern. Humanity's influence spread not through force or dominion, but through understanding and cooperation. The species that had seemed primitive to the Velox had instead become the galaxy's foremost pioneers in consciousness evolution and quantum integration. In the depths of the Pacific facility where it all began, a new generation of quantum scientists and explorers prepared to push the boundaries even further. The Phantom Fleet's technology had been just the beginning. Humanity's journey into quantum reality was revealing new horizons with each passing day. "We didn't just change the rules of warfare," General Santos reflected, watching the Academy's quantum training exercises. "We changed the rules of existence itself." Sarah nodded, feeling the quantum fields rippling through reality around them. "And the most beautiful part, we're still just beginning to understand what's possible." As night fell over Earth, the quantum reactive minerals embedded in the planet's crust pulsed with potential, resonating with the consciousness of billions of beings across the galaxy. Humanity had not just survived its trial by fire, it had transformed it into an opportunity for universal growth and understanding. The age of quantum consciousness had begun, and with it, the promise of possibilities beyond imagination. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly as it should be.